Carroll, bringing it forward. Thompson's making the run. Carroll hangs on to it though. Still Davy Carroll. Could go all the way here. Oh, what a goal!
Hello, I'm Phil Catchpole and welcome to this week's episode of Ringing the Blues, the official Wycombe Wanderers podcast. On this week's show, we have all the action and reaction from Sunday's game against Pompey at Adams Park. We have a chat with football commentator and big Wycombe Wanderers fan Joe Shannon, who's at the World Cup. Plus, we hear from Max Stryjek to get his musical choices in the pre-match playlist picks. But first, let's head to Mexico City and catch up with our old friend Uri.
We are ringing the blues from Mexico City. My name is Uri, and here are the results for League One. Plymouth Argyle 0, Port Vale 2, Wycombe 1, Exeter City 1, Peterborough United 1, Barnsley 2, Shrewsbury Town 2, Lincoln City 0, Derby County 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Accrington Stanley 1, Oxford United 1, Bolton Wanderers 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Charlton Athletic 0, Cheltenham 1, Ipswich Town 1, Fleetwood Town 1, MK Dons 1, Burton Albion 1, Forest Green Rovers 2, Cambridge United 1, Wycombe Wanderers 2, Portsmouth 0. I wanna say hello to my friend Liam Emerson, who supports Portsmouth, and he attended the game. He traveled to High Wycombe to watch his team lose against Wycombe. Good luck next time, Liam. And Cherboy Spanish. At the moment when I'm recording this, Harry Kane just scored a second goal against Senegal. I'm pretty sure England will go through and play France on the quarterfinals. Good luck, England. Let's bring it home. Oh, and the game against Portsmouth was moved for TV, so it was an early kickoff on Sunday. So Cherboy Spanish this week, an early kickoff. Let's go part by part. Kickoff in Spanish, it said patada inicial. To kick off, patear. Kickoff, patada inicial, like initial kick. And early is temprano. Una patada inicial temprana. Back to England with my amigo Phil Catchpole. Until next week.
So then, with the Sky cameras in town, Pompey rolled in for the early kickoff on Sunday. There was a family of Wycombe Wanderers fans watching from a luxury dreams bed on the side. It was all set for a cracker. Here's what happened. Wheeler gets up well, finds Hannon in the box. Hannon lays it down to Mehmeti. Oh yes, Anis Mehmeti. 8th goal of the season. Wycombe direct knocks it down, and the little Albanian smashes it into the top corner. One for the cameras. Wycombe 1, Pompey 0. Free kick will be taken by Wing. Wing drifts it into the box now, looking for Mawson. Mawson gets up down to Mehmeti, left-footed. Doesn't connect cleanly this time. It's on target, but this time the keeper can get there and save. And Anis Mehmeti with another clear-sighted goal. Had he hit it as well as the first one, we'll be talking about 2-0 here. Abita and Wing again. Not much of an angle to work with. It's Wing who just dinks it over the top. Tapazzoli heads the ball down to Mawson. Oh, it's the post. Mawson inches away from his first Wycombe goal in his second spell at the club. Has hit the inside of the post and it's been cleared out for a corner. Wycombe's second corner of the game. Oh wow, what a strike.
Small margins, isn't it? It just went straight against the post. There was no curl on the ball, it just went straight. So if it had had a little bit of curl on it, it might have clipped the inside of the post and gone in. Great strike by Mawson, by the way.
Mehmeti dancing his way through. He's inside the penalty area. Mehmeti still going. Shot charged down by Raggett in the end, but they're petrified of him. Ball headed clear by Robertson. Tapazzoli underneath it. Now Grimmer on the halfway line. Grimmer. Oh, it's a good run by Grimmer. It's opening up for the Scotsman. Edge of the area. Finds Mehmeti. Mehmeti to McCleary. McCleary onto his right, and it's over the bar. Grimmer on the right wing. Oh, he's done well, Jack Grimmer. Cuts it back low. Oh, it's just a great save off the line, and it's cleared. and Hannes Vermetti. Oh, it's Vokes as well. Vokes cuts the ball back, and he's done everything right there, and the keeper just about equal to it. Grimmer heads the ball back into the edge of the area. Wing flicks on two. Here's Vokes back to goal, looking to release Vermetti. Vermetti! Oh, great tackle. Brilliant tackle by Robertson as the ball. It took an age to sit down for Hannes Vermetti, and it enabled Robertson to position himself superbly. Vermetti and Scowen combine in the midfield. Through to Wing now. Wing can seal it. Oh, brilliant save. Brilliant save from Griffiths. Controls with ease, and he's now running at Robertson. He's inside the area, Vermetti. Checks it back. Cuts it back now, McCleary! There's the second. Hannes Vermetti scores one, creates one. Gareth McCleary strokes it into the bottom corner, and the second goal that Wycombe were threatening has arrived. Wycombe Wanderers 2, Portsmouth 0. Gareth, it's been a long wait for a home win here. 15 days between the last game as well, but that was a magnificent performance.
You know, it's nothing surprising to me. We've got that in us, you know. We know we have this season. Peterborough here, you know, again, Portsmouth here. You know, I thought that we could have had more goals to, you know, not to rub salt in anything, but I thought we could have been 3 or 4 today, and no one would have grumbled, you know. I thought the boys were outstanding. What we worked on in the week, you know, the pressing, you know, the pace in that front three to start with was superb. And Hannes Vermetti, you know, he's causing all sorts of problems to all sorts of defenders. Outstanding game he had. But, you know, the solidity of the Alfie and your Taff at the back, you know, the leaders that I was asking for, felt like we had those back today, and we felt like we were solid. We were going to soak up whatever you needed to chuck at us, and we had the chance to go and score goals. And I'm really proud of the boys today. They were superb and got nothing more than they deserved, and in front of, hopefully, a good audience on Sky TV.
A goal from Hannes Vermetti, a fabulous strike, an assist, and a dazzling performance at times as well, in front of the TV cameras a month before the transfer window opened.
Yeah, no, anyone wants to put 5 or 6, 7 million in, then we might consider letting him go. But he's an unbelievable talent, you know. This boy we picked up on trial 2 years ago, you know. He'd been at Norwich, he'd been at, I think, Spurs and a couple of London clubs, and then he ended up playing a game for Woodford Town at Step 9. The story is immense, you know. He's learnt his trade, playing in the little tight cages in London, and you can see that on the pitch. You know, he feels like he's got his own ball. He just wants to play these ridiculous things that I can't coach, but I can get him the position to receive the ball and hopefully do some magic. He certainly showed up today, but he had a great platform. A clean sheet, and 10 lads who are going to fight and scrap and do everything they can to give my match winners the platform. And Hannes was certainly a match winner today.
Did the match-winning start before the team sheets went in? Because I don't think Pompey expected Sam Vokes to be on the bench today.
No, and it was probably one of the worst kept secrets at Wycombe's training ground. I was telling everyone, if this gets out, then there'll be hell to pay. But I decided that Pompey may go big against us. It's Wycombe. We seem to have this tag that we're super physical, and everyone needs to put big players against us. So I went quick. I went pacey up front, and hopefully that made a little bit of a difference and got us up the pitch a bit higher. We were able to turn their back four who don't like being turned. You know, they like things being played up to them. If Sam Vokes starts, we're probably playing up to them and playing to their strength. Whereas when we can get down the sides and playing behind with Brandon, with Hannes, with Gareth, with Wheeler, I mean, we have chances then to utilise that space in behind a big back four, which Danny started with, but big back five actually. You know, he threw me with a little bit of a shape there. But no, as performances go, it's right up there this season, and I've just said to the boys, you can do this. It's not surprising me because I know what I've got in this dressing room. We can do this week in, week out. We've got some tough games coming up now, but we always seem to turn up in the big games, and real good 3 points for us today.
Is that the next challenge? Because we've had performances like this, but it's been an inconsistent season so far. Is now the challenge to string these together?
Absolutely. Consistency is what gets you results and gets you promotions and what gets you trophies. You know, you look at Man City and they're consistently what they are every week in, week out. There's no ebbs and flows with them. I don't want any ebbs and flows with that. I don't want any roller coaster performances. I want this, what I know I'm going to get from each player, and once you know that as a manager, you're in a great place.
Gareth, a home win after a few games without one, and a goal for yourself as well. A good afternoon.
Yeah, decent afternoon. Obviously, we'll mention the clean sheet as well, which the boys were happy with. Yeah, it was a good performance against a team that are quite close to the playoffs, a team that have started well the season, so we're happy.
It was always going to be a tough game against a Daddy Cowley side, a well-drilled side, but Wycombe had more intensity, I think, in that first 25 minutes.
Yeah, Gaffer's banged on about that all week. We've had a good week's training session to try and combat what they do. I think there was a bit of change of shape to what we thought they would bring, but I think we countered that well. And yeah, the Gaffer's drilled into us that we have to be on the front foot and press, and I think we showed that today.
15 days without a game, the question was, what would it be like going in off the back of a disappointing result and performance at Cheltenham? I think we know the answer to that now.
Yeah, Gaffer gave us a bit of time away, so some of us would have spent it with our families or just got some R&R and just been away from the place, and sometimes that's good mentally. So yeah, it was good to get a bit of time away. He's just fully finished me with that. But yeah, it's good to get some time away. But yeah, we've got another 6 days until Lincoln, and obviously it's good to have games back to back, but when you have a week's training session behind you, I think that puts you in good stead as well.
Now, we know how old you are and the career you've had, but still in great shape. But let's talk about Anis Fermetti, a player who's at the very start of his journey almost now and has ripped it up in front of the cameras today.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, and I don't want to really mention how good he is on the ball, because everyone can see that. His work ethic off it is testament to him. He's due diligence in the gym and stuff that he does off the pitch as well, either looking at clips or just working on himself as well is massive testament to him. So yeah, the sky's the limit for him, and that's me being totally honest.
And he put your goal on a silver tray.
Yeah, he did. I think he scuffed it. I don't think he actually saw me there. But yeah, I think we set each other up quite a few times this season. So as long as he's here, for however many windows that may be, I think long may it continue.
You've been at the top table. Have you enjoyed passing on that knowledge to him as well at the training ground?
Yeah, we speak quite a bit. He's a confident lad, which is good. I think you have to have confidence in yourself. But he also shows humility as well. And one thing that I'm impressed with is that he works his absolute socks off, and if he continues to do that, he'll get a lot of luck his way as well. So yeah, there's not much I can really say about him which isn't high praise, but just keep his feet on the ground and we'll see what happens.
You've mentioned Lincoln. Wycombe have been inconsistent this season. They've had good performances. Today was one of those. The challenge, I guess, now is to start stringing these together into runs.
Yeah, 100%. Lincoln will be a tough game. We've got, as I said, 6 days to train on the training field to work our plan against them and to see what we'll do. So we know it's going to be a tough game. Every game in this league has been. So yeah, we'll see, but we'll obviously be going out for 3 points to obviously cement our place in that playoffs where we want to be at the end of the season.
Cheers, Gareth. We'll let you go back to the World Cup now.
Cheers, thank you very much. Thank you.
Wycombe gaffer Gareth Ainsworth and goalscorer Gareth McCleary giving their thoughts to Wanderers TV after the match. The Pompey fans didn't hold back during the game with their thoughts on their team's performance, but here's what they had to say after the final whistle in the opposition view. Forever Pompey.
The first half, so bad it was hard to believe. The second half was marginally better, but only Griffiths in goal saved us from a 4 or 5 goal defeat. Where is the Marlon pack of early season? There were some shocking performances, and the Cowleys must be on thin ice now.
Fark 2.
That was too bad to be true. Something is seriously wrong. Wycombe looked a far better team than us, all over the pitch.
The syrup.
Totally outclassed by minnows, yet again.
The Ides of March.
Very disappointing result, but I suppose Wycombe only confirmed that our present squad and methodology is just not good enough to get a playoff place, let alone promotion. Points-wise, we are as close to teams in the drop zone as we are to Sheffield Wednesday. Mind the gap.
Dean Maskell.
The Cowleys have to go. Stop getting managers who are all mouth and can't create and organise a decent team. Look at other clubs. Luton, Wycombe, Coventry, Wigan. How come they can do it? It's just not good enough.
Rusty.
contrast the efforts of that Mehmeti kid who enjoys his game and plays without fear to the withdrawn torpor and fear of the Portsmouth players. And somebody needs to explain to the Cowleys it's not 5 wins in 9 games. The league is the true priority, and the cup matches are nice to win, but don't get you promoted.
Callum Doust, PFC.
I'm furious, gutted, depressed and angry. That's the last straw. 1 win in 11 in the league is embarrassing. He seems to have lost the dressing room and is losing the fan base rapidly. Cowley out!
Luke Ellis.
I don't think Cowley will be in charge by the time we play Spurs if this continues. 1 win in 10 league games, it's relegation form. I hate saying it, I've tried to back him, but it's just not working. He's had 3 transfer windows, and there's no excuses anymore.
Lewis Pete.
Well, we deserve that. Completely outplayed by Wycombe. They are a far, far better side than us. I don't believe in sacking managers to get out of bad form, but what is the plan with this team?
Paul G.
Cowley out. Eisner out. It's simply not good enough. Portsmouth are a better club than League One. We need better management and better quality players that will get us out of this division. If the owners don't want to invest the money, then sell to someone who does.
Pompey Peanuts.
Utter rubbish from Pompey today. I feel so bad for the amazing travelling support that had to witness that garbage. We didn't compete, couldn't defend basic balls, were thoroughly outplayed by Wycombe and failed to take advantage of the other weekend results. We looked like a team of strangers today.
Pompey Opinion.
It's just so frustrating that none of those Pompey players played well in front of the cameras. It was a great opportunity to shine. Just look at that Mehmeti.
Right, on the line from Qatar, we've got big Wycombe fan and expert football commentator and excellent football commentator, no less, as well, Joe Shannon. Joe, how are you, mate?
Feel good. You're very kind as ever. How are you?
I'm very good indeed, mate. And I do have a slightly envious eye. You're at a World Cup, but this is a strange World Cup because it's in the winter. How is it out there?
It is unusual. I think everybody's talked very openly about the logistical difficulties, about the cultural challenges, and about the major issues of a World Cup in a country like Qatar. It is a World Cup like no other, as you say, not just because of the timing of it in the middle of the winter, but the nature of the country that it's being played in. I can completely understand why large chunks of supporters wouldn't feel welcome. Obviously, the manner in which the process that this World Cup was awarded is obviously something that is very questionable. And I think, understandably, there's a great deal of concern about that. But I think what's been interesting being here on the ground, our hosts have been very welcoming, perfectly affable people. We have seen some fantastic football so far. Now, I'm not saying that should, in the slightest, make up for all of the issues surrounding this tournament, and I don't think anybody believes that. It is a strange place, and I think having the tournament somewhere like this is probably ultimately going to be an aberration, although you never know what is possible given FIFA's track record in this. But I think what we have seen is some terrific football. If you can separate the football from everything else, which again is arguably debatable. The stadiums are terrific. The International Broadcast Centre, which is where all of the journalists congregate to work, to see press conferences, to record pieces in studios, is again absolutely spectacular. It's a huge conference centre that looks like a spaceship as you approach it from the outside. And So look, there are vast elements of this tournament, and it's always a privilege to come out and cover football at any level, let alone at a World Cup. And I think that's obvious for all of us who are out here. It's a great privilege to be here, but we are aware of the fundamental issues surrounding a tournament like this, and they, I think, rightly won't go away.
One of the logistical issues which led to the moving of when this would take place was the weather and the temperature. What's it like there now at the moment in terms of game times?
You know what? It's not bad, Phil. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to complain about 25, 30 degrees in the middle of winter. That is for sure. It's certainly quite a novel November, not used to something like this. But actually, it's relatively temperate. Most of the stadiums are air conditioned. In fact, all but one air conditioned here in Qatar. And I don't think that heat or humidity has been a factor in any of the games that we've seen. The one little bit of intrigue, Phil, that I think you'll appreciate is at Stadium 974, which is like no stadium I've ever been to before. It is called Stadium 974 because it is made up entirely of 974 shipping containers. And it's going to be taken down after the tournament and totally dismantled. And that is the one stadium without any air conditioning. So it gets pretty humid there. But that aside, it's relatively temperate, as I say, 25 degrees, maybe 30 in the middle of the afternoon, in and around lunchtime, which, look, I know is a damn sight warmer than it is back home, but nothing to interfere with the football, I wouldn't think.
And you've touched on it there with the container ship stadium. Obviously, all of these have been built brand new, haven't they? And they're all quite close to each other because of the size of Qatar. What do you think the legacy will be of this World Cup for football in Qatar? Well, there's a lot of big stadiums there, and it's not really a footballing nation, is it?
Well, I think, look, in terms of the stadiums, how they were built and constructed, the processes and the people who built these stadiums, and what resulted from all of that. And I think, again, that has to always be in the back of our minds when we're talking about how impressive these stadiums are. And they are very impressive, and they're all very unique. It's interesting, though, Phil, in terms of the stadiums themselves, a lot of them are going to be scaled down. So we talk about Stadium 974. That's going to be kind of completely deconstructed. There's the Al Thumama Stadium, which is where I did my first commentary of the tournament, the Netherlands against Senegal. The top tier of that stadium is going to be converted into a hotel. Would you believe it? So they're going to be scaling back. I think in terms of the legacy for football in Qatar, football in this country, you would think can only benefit. They have the Aspire Academy, which is a huge and quite impressive looking academy facility, which is where they tried as best they could to produce a caliber of player that was good enough to compete at the World Cup. And look, I think everybody can see from Qatar's performances, I think they're the worst hosts statistically in World Cup history, that they have a heck of a long way to go. But I think in terms of a legacy for football in this country, you'd imagine it can only be a positive.
In football in the region, I mean, Saudi Arabia have had some quite spectacular results here. One in particular, and their performances have been competitive as well. It shows you that it is a global game, and areas that weren't traditional football territories are catching us up.
Well, look, it is the first World Cup in the Middle East, and I think the first World Cup in the region of the Middle East is a good thing for football supporters out here. Again, I think there are huge question marks, as we all know, over the host nation this time, over the way it came about, over the fact that it is Qatar in itself, and I think it could well be an aberration. Realistically, perhaps it should be an aberration. I think many people would say that. But Saudi Arabia, extraordinary performance against Argentina. I mean, look, I know they've ended up going out of the group, but that was one of the greatest shocks in World Cup history. I mean, I was watching it, Phil, here where I'm actually sitting now in the International Broadcast Centre. So I'm prepping for commentaries today, and I'm sitting in what is essentially a kind of huge lecture hall. It's absolutely enormous. There are rows of desks and big screens and televisions where journalists can watch the matches as they're going on. And I watched it here, and I think the football world was in disbelief. And we've had some amazing shocks, some amazing results, and some incredible finishes to the group stage at this tournament so far. And I think footballing wise, it maybe started a little slowly, but it is really kind of into the groove now, isn't it, this World Cup? And look, I can't wait for the knockout stages.
Yeah, you've mentioned Senegal. You've covered at least one of their games by the sound of it. And England's next opponents, what do you reckon?
Well, it's an interesting one. I mean, as you say, I've covered a couple of their matches. They were beaten by the Netherlands. They beat Qatar, who look, again, I think a really poor side. I mean, look, I think I look at us and I think we could give Qatar a good game. Actually, honestly, they've been pretty shocking throughout this tournament. So, can you read into that all that much for Senegal? I'm not sure. No Sadio Mane, that's a massive blow. Ismail Assar, who's a player who I think listeners will obviously know a bit about from his time at Watford. And playing, I'm sure he must have played against us, Phil, in the championship season. Did he, Ismail Assar?
He did, yes, yeah.
Yeah, and so look, he's kind of taken up the mantle. They've got a good spine through the side, Mendy and Koulibaly. I think they're capable of causing England issues, but I think I'm pretty confident that England should have enough to get past them.
And the tournament as a whole, you've seen a lot of football out there, obviously, a lot closer to it than us. I mean, the usual suspects are in there, aren't they? France and Brazil. Obviously, no Germany now, but France and Brazil, perhaps the ones to watch?
Yeah, well, yes, I think from what I've seen so far, and feel like I've been lucky enough to see them both in the flesh, is that the kind of lottery of commentary games has worked out very fortunately for me. And I saw Richarlison's overhead kick against Serbia, which is probably the best goal I think I've ever seen live, ever commentated on live, certainly. Mbappe is obviously France's outstanding player. He can win games on his own. They made lots of changes for the defeat to Tunisia, so you'd expect that all the big guns will come back for the last 16. Brazil, again, you feel they're fated, aren't they? 20 years having between their last World Cup win and this tournament here. Are they fated to go on and win it? But look, we've seen some amazing shocks in this tournament as well. Look at Japan getting through the group yesterday. I was commentating on Costa Rica 2, Germany 4, and at one stage it looked like Costa Rica were going to go through. And actually, I have to say, Phil, in terms of drama and excitement, that is probably the most dramatic match I've ever covered. Costa Rica, Germany, last night, the final part of Group E. It was so unpredictable, this World Cup, and I look, of all the teams that have got through, yes, there are the ones who you would make way more heavily to get further in the tournament. I think England potentially are in that conversation, but you just never know. Spain started with a 7-0 win, and they scraped through yesterday. So I think there's a lot of unpredictability, but wouldn't it be great to see Brazil, Argentina maybe in the final? I think that would be a magnificent final.
We've got to bring this back to Wycombe as well, but Japan won that game, 17% possession. That sounds very Wycombe-esque to me.
Well, it just goes to show that, as we've seen many times, possession means nothing in football, just like attendances mean nothing in football either. And we saw that with Argentina against Saudi Arabia when the fans packed out the Lusail Stadium. The Argentina fans, and Saudi Arabia shocked them. But look, again, you're right. I mean, Japan, are the individual players necessarily outstanding? Not necessarily better than Spain, for example, or better than Germany, who they beat on their first match day. But, if you've got team spirit and an astute head coach who makes good substitutions and tactical interventions, it can, in a knockout tournament in particular, it can get you really far. And I think the Japan story is a great story. And I look at Australia as well, Phil, and again, similarly to the way that we did things when we were in the championship, and obviously so close last year, and obviously the heartbreak that rounded off what was actually a wonderful season, I think, for us last year. But Australia, nobody fancied them to get out of the group, and I think similarly they galvanized themselves. Not necessarily the team with maybe the most talented set of individuals, but the team spirit's fantastic. They took their chance against Denmark, a memorable goal. And I don't know if you've seen, Phil, on social media, the scenes from, I think it's Foundation Square in Melbourne, of the Australian supporters celebrating the winner at about 3:00 in the morning. That was something special. And that's been one of my favourite moments, I think, in the tournament.
And from you personally, obviously a dream come true to commentate at a World Cup final, surely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I never lose sight of the privilege of doing this. And, and I think, as you know, whatever the game is, whether it's kind of whether it's Papa John's Trophy, which we've all done on a Tuesday night, 120 miles from home, or whether it's kind of coming in and watching a game like I did Costa Rica, Germany. The prep is still the same, the enthusiasm's still the same. It is a bit of a pinch me moment, of course, because I'm working with so many great broadcasters, and you might go up on a gantry and see some of the commentators that you've been listening to or watching since you were a child, and that's quite a surreal experience. And then getting to watch teams like Brazil in the flesh. I hadn't seen Brazil. I don't think I'd seen France or even Germany in the flesh before coming to this tournament, and to be able to turn around and say, yes, I've commentated on them at a World Cup. It's a wonderful opportunity, and it's been a really memorable experience so far. And it's nearly done. I've got a couple of games left, but it'll be a memory that I always have. And look, I've been very lucky to get this one, and hopefully there'll be more to come, maybe in the future.
No, I'm sure there will be. And just to remind everybody, where can people be listening to you during the World Cup?
Well, I'm across on TalkSport, Phil, and TalkSport 2. So I've got 2 more commentaries from the World Cup to come. And Netherlands against the United States tomorrow on TalkSport, which is going to be really exciting. I think 2 pretty evenly matched sides, so that could go either way. And then it's one of those things, Phil, I'm sure you find it when, we've got a glut of fixtures around Christmas and Easter, when you lose track of the days, and you kind of don't know as a commentator exactly what day it is, but you've got games coming up. So I've actually had to double check my diary for Tuesday, which will be my last commentary, which is the round of 16 between Morocco and Spain. And I actually fancy Morocco the way things are at the moment. So that could be a thriller as well. So really looking forward to it.
Well, brilliant, Joe. We hope to see you back at Adams Park. And in the meantime, enjoy the weather, enjoy the football, and safe travels when you do come home. And hopefully see you at Adams Park soon.
Phil, thank you. And yes, my plan I haven't been able to get to a game this season, sadly, because my schedule's been pretty busy. But December the 17th, I have off, and I've earmarked the Ipswich game, which hopefully will be a real cracker, and hopefully we can really produce a statement performance and a statement win. And look, it's a long way to go in the season. What are we now? 5 points off the playoffs. There are what I think we said 27 games to go. So much that can happen, so much that can change. So Adams Park, winter kind of time, just before Christmas. You don't want to be anywhere else, so can't wait.
Right, it's playlist picks time, where we allow a player or member of staff here at Wycombe Wanderers to pick 3 songs for the pre-match playlist. And Jason McCarthy, if you remember rightly, has suggested Big Max Stryjek. Welcome to Wanderers TV.
Hello everyone.
How are you?
Great, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm good. Are you excited about being able to let your musical choice on the Wycombe Wanderers fans?
Yeah, I'm excited, but also very stressed.
Has it stressed you out, this?
Yes, a bit, yeah. I just don't like interviews and stuff like this, yeah.
So we're very gentle here. We'll be very kind to you. Let's talk about your first song. What's the first song going to be?
I'm going for Kasabian Fire.
Okay, that's a very motivational song.
Very motivational and FIFA song, so that's why I decided to go for this one.
So you're a big FIFA player?
Actually, no. When I was younger, I used to play FIFA, but that was when I was about 15 years ago. And since that, I play it, but like always with my friends, so I don't even have FIFA at home, really. I don't even have Xbox at home or PlayStation.
Kasabian, I remember that being on FIFA. That was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
So I know, yeah, but I started playing FIFA when I was I remember it was FIFA 98, because my brother had it in the wardrobe. And then 2002, and there was lots of songs as well. And then the next one I bought, actually my parents bought it, to me it was FIFA 06. So that was with Messi on and Ronaldinho still. So.
Do you remember on FIFA, if you pressed all the buttons at the same time, you could make the goalkeeper run out of his penalty area? Did you used to do that?
No, I never knew about it. I think it was triangle, but I can't remember.
You were staying in the
triangle,
area?
I think, yeah. I just didn't know about it. We used to play with my brother, but that's really... We were so excited with everyone, and, pads were thrown everywhere. It was competition between us always, so... Yeah, but in general, the next FIFA I bought, it was 12.
Okay.
FIFA 12, and then since that, I can't remember about anything else.
There we are. You can get it free now.
I think so, yeah. I don't know. As I said, I don't really have FIFA at home anyway.
Okay, fair enough. Right, Kasabian and Fire, Max Stryjek's first choice, as inspired by FIFA, I think 1998 or maybe one after that. Anyway, enjoy this one. A great track to kick things off then with Max Stryjek. Max, so the music then, do you train to it or do you like to train with your own thoughts?
Depends where I am. In the gym I would prefer to probably stick up my headphones and listen to some other songs. It depends what. Usually something more, how to say it, more energetic and more, not motivational, but more like, gym songs, let's put it this way. A bit more with the kick and bass and stuff like this.
Okay, you seem quite a calm individual for a goalkeeper, is that fair to say?
Well, I am calm outside, but on the pitch, no, definitely no. I think it with the life, and obviously I'm a bit older now, and then I calm myself a bit more, and I'm not hot-headed anymore. I think when I was younger, I used to be shouting, screaming, starting kicking off with people, but there's not really a point because we've got the same goal on the pitch, and then obviously with the opposition sometimes it's hard to control your emotions as you might get sent off as well. So you think about like obviously the team, and then you don't want to do anything bad to your teammates because we want to win games.
One of my highlights of the season so far is the penalty save for you against Oxford, and the double save as well, because the second save I think was even better.
Yeah, if you ask about my nose, it's fine. Yeah, I got a few knocks in the nose, but yeah, the second save I made it with my nose.
Well, it all counts, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What was going through your head? Because the Wycombe fans were right next to you as well, and it was a really great way to sort of introduce yourself to them. It was early on in your Wycombe career.
At this stage, I didn't think about it because as we know, probably on the same time there was an incident on the crowds going on, and I knew I saved the penalty and I saved the rebounds, but the next thought process in my head was just focus on the game. But then it got a bit, basically we went to the training room for like half an hour. So then, when you're in a training room for five first minutes, I was like, with the lads, we were buzzed off about it, but obviously you could go out again, and then we had a time to rethink about everything, and then luckily we won the game 1-0.
Yeah,
so
big win.
Which helps, yeah. And then I remember we defended really well. We made so many blocks. Towards the end I made 2 good saves as well, which obviously helped. And yeah, I'm just happy that we won.
Song number 2 then, what's it going to be?
I said about the bass and everything like this, so I go for Scooter. I like it loud.
Scooter?
Yeah.
I like it loud.
Yeah.
I don't remember this song. I'm looking forward to hearing this then.
Yeah, go on then. It's one of the Celtic songs, which I remember when I was at Celtic Park watching the game. It's like the intro one, so when they walk in on the pitch, I really liked it, especially around really big stadium, so I go for this one.
Here we go. We're away from the early 2000s indie, everybody. It's Scooter with I Like It Loud.
Turn up the bass, boy! All right, everybody! Tie your shoes! Yeah! From the H to the P, on the mic you will see the people's champ, that's me. Yeah, skibbity, skibbity-danger. I am the real ranger, hit them with the raw, for sure, knock on your door, yeah.
Scooter, fantastic. That's going to get Adams Park jumping on Sunday for the early kickoff. Max, we've got one more song to go, but we've got to talk about the World Cup. We're talking now on a Wednesday morning. It's a big day for Poland today. You nervous?
I'm actually not nervous because I obviously watch World Cup games, but I'm not really fascinated about it. I just basically watch it as a fan, but I don't really have my favorites to win anyway. I think Poland probably today, if they get a point, they go through, but I can't see it happening. I think maybe with a bit of luck from the other game, we might get through, but I think Argentina is going to win like 1-0 or 2-0 today.
What's it like in Poland when the World Cup's on? Is it like here everyone's getting behind, or England sometimes at the start of tournaments aren't very hopeful, a bit like what you just said now?
In Poland, usually people, they think we won't get through the group stages. So if we get through the group stages, it's going to be something amazing. But at this stage, after first game, everyone was like surprised that we got something out of the game. We drew against Mexico and missed the pen. But then, obviously, second game, we thought we're not going to win against Saudi Arabia, which we won. The style was acceptable, let's put it this way. But apart from that, I think nowadays people see the hope, and usually it was like when Poland play on World Cup or Euros, it was always first game, get beat, second game, usually get beat, so the third one was like for nothing really. And then nowadays it's changed a bit, so we're actually looking forward to it. And people, even though the in Poland mentality is still to criticize everyone for everything, so I don't know, yeah, maybe it's a Polish thing to say that it's better to say something bad about someone than something good. So it's just like some people are like that.
Well, fingers crossed everyone's happy tomorrow in Poland if you get through.
There still will be criticism about them anyway. It will be about the style or something like that, and people probably will be boosted off about result if they go through, but they will be still criticizing manager and players for the style they play in. So it's like no win anyway. So
fair enough. I've got to ask you about your dog, because I always ask you about your dog when I chat to you, Max. How is the dog?
He's good at this moment. Yeah, he's basically settled down, and then obviously he's with me now, so he's doing well.
Settled in High Wycombe. What's the dog's name?
Major.
Major?
Yeah.
And how big is he now?
42 kilograms.
Wow.
But he thinks he's still a puppy. Obviously he's 15 months old, so he's Rottweiler, by the way, so he's big dog, but he still thinks he's a puppy, especially when he's climbing on people, and like he's acting like a kid as well, so he's still big puppy.
Have you brought him to the training ground yet?
No, not yet, no. I might though, if someone pisses me off, I'll chase him over.
And do you listen to music when you walk Major, or have you got to keep all your senses about you?
No, I don't like listening to music when I walk and move my dog, because obviously like I have to control him sometimes. And I prefer, sometimes I prefer know where he is, especially when I let him off the lead. I prefer to hear him what he's doing and where he's going, because sometimes he likes to run away, especially after like, what are they called? Pheasants and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't listen to music now.
Fair enough. What's your third track then for the game against Portsmouth?
I go for Van Halen Jump.
Okay, why this track? Why is this special?
I don't know. I saw first time I heard it was probably my dad's playlist, and then I heard it on ski jumping ages ago when I was a kid as well. There was always in TV when the ski jumping tournament was on, there was always this song on, and I was like, oh, it's a pretty cool song, and that's why I go for this one.
There we are. Right, this will get everyone going then before Pompey. It's Van Halen and Jump. that's it for Max's playlist picks this week for Pompey. Max, we've just got one more task. You have to choose another of your teammates or member of staff here at Marlow Road to be the next playlist picker for the game against Ipswich Town the week before Christmas. Who's it going to be?
I'm picking up Gaffer then.
The Gaffer?
Yeah, come on.
Fantastic. I asked all the players this who've done this so far. Have you heard his band?
I wanted to pick one of his songs, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, Wycombe Wanderers, but I thought about it, and I prefer not to do it.
So you've heard his band. What do you reckon? Are they good?
Yes.
Yeah. They all say that?
Yes. Diplomatic, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, Max, thank you very much for your choice, and I look forward to seeing you out and about with Major, probably from a distance at first. I might be scared.
Right. You won't be scared of him.
Okay.
He's not aggressive at all.
Good man. Well,
Big softy, like me.
Right, that's your lot for this week. Many thanks to Joe Shannon at the World Cup, to Supermax and Josh Scowen, and you guys for listening in. If you like this podcast, then why not leave us a review or rate us on whatever podcast platform you listen to Ringing the Blues on. It all helps spread the word on our beloved Chairboys. We'll be back next week after our trip to Lincoln City. In the meantime, come on you Blues.